Want to get rich? Try delaying your fun until your funeral? No, wait, let me explain. There's a strange paradox at the heart of wealth. The discipline that makes you rich can also make you cautious to a fault. You save, you scrimp, you compound, and sometimes you end up wealthy, but strangely timid about enjoying what you earned. That's the ugly flip side of delayed gratification, and it's the perfect place to start a conversation about how to unlock wealth wisely. Here's the central idea I want to leave with you. Specialization, making a few high-conviction long-term bets, can beat broad diversification, but only if you truly understand what you own. Diversification is a sensible default for most people. It protects the uninformed. But if you have knowledge and discipline, concentrated investing can amplify your edge. That's not bravado. It's math and temperament. If you want more practical lessons from investing legends, subscribe. There's more of this kind of straight talk coming. Let me be plain about what I mean by specialization. For decades, I ran a small portfolio at the Daily Journal Company. I didn't take a large salary. I didn't build 1,000-stock mutual fund. Instead, I held a handful of positions I understood and trusted. I had a partner, Garrett, who shared the view that owning a few great businesses and holding them for a long time beats owning a little of everything. That approach worked for us. It fit our temperament. It also fit our time horizon. Why does this work? Think of investing as a game of probabilities stacked over time. If you can identify an advantage, call it a truth about a business or an industry, that you expect to persist for decades, that small persistent advantage compounds. Imagine having a modest, repeatable advantage in expected returns. Over 30 or 40 years, that modest edge becomes massive because of compounding. You don't need to be right about everything. You need to be decisively right about a few things. That's the math intuition behind concentration. Now, you probably picture someone bragging about hit or miss stock picks. That's the wrong picture. Concentrated investing isn't about gambling. It's about conviction backed by understanding. It's about being willing to hold when others panic and having the patience to let sensible compounding do its work. If you don't know a business, don't act like you do. Diversify in that case. Diversification is the hedge for uncertainty. It's not a badge of wisdom when used as a cover for ignorance. Here's a line that surprised people when I first said it. Most advisors teach blanket diversification because they don't know what they're doing themselves. Harsh? Maybe. Useful? Definitely. If someone is selling you diversification as the best answer in every case, ask whether they actually understand the assets they recommend. If they don't, diversification protects both of you from mistakes. If they do, concentration can be the rational choice. Concrete examples help. Berkshire Hathaway and Costco are two businesses that rewarded patient concentrated owners. For us, an Asian fund with an unfamiliar spelling, Lilu or Lilo, I've seen both, indefinido, also formed a significant part of the story at one point. These were not lottery tickets. They were businesses with durable competitive advantages, good management, and predictable economics. When you find a Uncle Horace situation, a simple, family-owned, well-run enterprise selling for less than it's worth, you don't nibble. You commit if you're confident in your analysis. History offers the same lesson in other clothes. Carnegie and the Rockefellers didn't build empires by spreading themselves thin. They concentrated resources, learned their industries, and exploited advantages others ignored. Adam Smith laid out principles about specialization for a reason. There are gains from focusing on what you do best. That doesn't mean you should behave like a single-minded monk. It means you should respect the benefits of focused effort, whether in business or in investing, but be clear about the costs. Specialization narrows your experience. It can make life less exciting. You'll miss the thrill of chasing trends. You'll watch headlines and feel nothing because you know your businesses. Concentration magnifies both upside and downside. If you're wrong, you suffer. If you're right, you benefit disproportionately. That's why I keep repeating the same caution. This path is not for everyone. A little story about talent and focus. Mozart didn't become Mozart by being half interested in music. He lived in the music. He practiced. He specialized from a very early age. Trying to become Mozart by dabbling won't get you Mozart. The same holds for investing. Mastery takes time. Skill matters. Competence before concentration is a rule worth engraving on a wall. Let's bring that back to practical steps. First, cultivate delayed gratification as a habit, not an inability to enjoy life. Save, invest, and then plan to use your wealth intelligently. Second, develop real expertise in a corner of the market. Read annual reports. Understand business models. Learn industry incentives. Third, when you identify an opportunity where the odds clearly favor you, be prepared to act decisively and hold for the long term. Fourth, if you do not have that expertise, diversify. There's honor and prudence in that. One quick mental exercise I used often: ask yourself whether you have an information edge that's likely to persist. If the answer is yes, concentration might reward you. If the answer is no, diversification will save you from fool's errors. That question separates the gambler from the investor. Never forget the human side. Discipline matters more than genius. The most brilliant model is useless if you panic and sell at the wrong time. Temperament, patience, rationality, and a certain stubbornness often explain success better than sheer intellect, and humility keeps you alive. Say often, "This worked for me. It may not work for you." There are real risks. There's no guaranteed formula. So, to synthesize, delayed gratification builds the capital. Study and specialization build the edge. Discipline and patience allow compounding to work. Use diversification as insurance when you lack understanding. Make concentrated bets only when conviction, evidence, and temperament align. Seize rare opportunities, but keep your feet on the ground. If this resonated, like and share it with someone who could use a dose of clear thinking about wealth. Check the description for recommended reading and sources. There's a short list that includes historical accounts and investor letters worth your time. And remember, wealth is unlocked not by frantic searching, but by steady habits, thoughtful focus, and the courage to act when the odds are in your favor.